Okay, we're in MatrixGold. We're going to do a little animation with this item here. So the first thing we're going to do is add our materials, which I already did, make sure, and do a little test render. So I'll just go ahead and test it. I went ahead and added white gold and then diamonds to the gemstones. So let's go to our render view. So I went ahead and did that. So we'll just kind of set it up a little bit and we'll just take a look, make sure. Turn on my denoiser, and yeah, that's okay. So we'll just go ahead and click out of this, and we'll close out our render. So you want to make sure, of course, you apply your materials before you go to the render animation. So now we'll go into our animation studio, and let's see. Okay. So first thing you'll want to do is add your item into the object box. So I add that, and then it'll come up with some presets. You can choose from the presets. I would recommend going ahead and choosing one of them, and then apply preset. So it added our camera path in there already for us, and let's just take a look at that real quick. So we'll animate it, go back to the beginning. Okay, so it's way too close, right? So we'll go back to the beginning, and we'll back out of that, and we'll just select our curve that's in there, our camera path, and we'll just make that a little bit bigger. So I'm going to hold down shift and drag it out, and I'm also going to drag it up just a little bit and see what that looks like. Alright, so now we're back to our beginning. It's kind of right where we want it, and then I'll hit I'll close my dynamic commands out, and we'll go ahead and take a look and see what this looks like. Alright, it's still a little too close probably, so I'll just go ahead and hit go back to the beginning, the box there, and then we'll back out, and I'll drag this curve up a little bit more, and also we'll make it a little bit larger. Alright, and now we'll go back to the beginning, and we'll see what that looks like. And not too bad. I still like to get a little bit maybe better view at the top of it. So I'm going to drag that curve up even more and see what that looks like. So we'll go back. Now I have a little bit better, maybe a 45 or so degree angle on it, which to me looks okay. So we'll go back to it and we'll click it again. Yeah, you kind of want to preview it before you do the create animation down here at the bottom, just so you can get a better idea of how it's going to come out. And also, if you are in your 4 windows, you'll probably want to make sure that your perspectives clicked, because if you click it on any other window and then let's say go to, or it's not going to do anything, it's not going to show anything. So you're going, oh no, what's wrong? You'll need to make sure you're in your perspective, and then once you play it, it should be okay. So the perspective viewport is the one that you'll want to be in for making an animation. So let's go back. Let's see. Let's say you want to change the target point. Okay. I think, let's say you want to move the target point to the top. Well, you could go to your curves menu, and you could throw out something, or you could pick a curve that's already in there and make that your target point. And then when you run the animation, it'll be pointing at that item. Okay, and as you can see here, it's kind of down low. It's not really where I want it. So you can go to your curves menu, type in, I just throw points out there, P-O-I-N. Oh, here, let me get both hands down here. P-O-I-N-T, point curve. And I'll just grab a point here real quick, and I'll just put it at C4 or around there. Okay, and I'm going to turn that to a different color. I'm going to turn it to red. Okay. Red. Alright, so now I'll just take this and make it, first we'll get rid of this one, unselect, and then we'll add this one in. Okay, and now let's see what it looks like. Run the animation. Okay, let's see, that's fine. But you can pick a point wherever you want. Say you want that curve over to the side for some reason, and then go back and then click, and now it's going to focus on that area. So I'll just select my red, go in here, put my point in, and now we'll see the difference. Now the ring's going around there, right? So you can pick a point, you can add a point anywhere you want, or pick a curve or a stone or pretty much anything, and use that as your target for the camera. I'm just going to move that back somewhere in the middle there, and we'll take another look at it again. Go back and hit. Okay, so I didn't select my curve to the, let's get rid of that one, and let's put that one in, and we'll go back, and now it should be back in the center there. Okay, so that's pretty much the basics of that. You can also, if you want to take the curve, you can draw your own curve, where you can manipulate the curves that's out there. And we'll just say drag this point down. We'll go ahead and drag this one down a little bit so it's not so choppy there. And we'll go ahead and drag this one down a little bit so it's not so blunt of an angle. We'll go back to our curve still select, so it's the same curve that we've been using. And I'll go ahead and just change that to yellow so we can all see it. And right now I have it dipping down, right? So let's go back to the beginning, and we'll take a look, and you can see it dip down there, and you can adjust that however you want, any way you want. I'm going to go ahead and hide this one real quick. Okay, I can't. I'm going to hide this curve right real quick, and then I'm just going to go out and let's see, let's get rid of those. Let's go to our curves. Alright, so I want a freeform curve, and I'm just going to go to my top view right here, and I'm going to get a path in here, make my own path. Something like that. And then I'll go to my perspective, and I have my curve right, and I'll kind of drag it over a little bit, and I'm going to drag it up, and first we'll take a look, see what that looks like. We didn't change our point, so it's a little too close, so we're going to make it a little bit, well, first we got to add our curve in there. Let's get rid of that curve there, and then put this one in. Okay, there we go. Now let's do an animation. Let's take a look. Kind of goes in, back out, kind of crazy stuff. But it's just a little manipulation. You can do anyhow you want. You can add height to it. Basically, just trying to show you could do your own curves. Let's drag that one down. Kind of play. Let's go ahead and take a look, see what we got going here. The curve's still selected, so you can manipulate it. It's not going to change the curve path. And then kind of going crazy. But that's, you know, you can draw your own curve and then manipulate it however you want. Let's take one more look at it before I move on. Okay, So that's kind of that thing there. Let's get rid of this real quick, and let's go ahead and put it back in, and let's take another look at it. Alright, so that's kind of weaves in there a little bit a couple times. I don't really particularly care for that too much, so I'm going to drag some of these out. Alright, and we'll take a look at it now and see how it looks. Bouncing all over the place. Yeah. Well, don't really like that curve, but let's go ahead and get rid of that one, and we'll go back to our first one there. Put that in there. Go back. Okay, so it's a little too close. So all you have to do is pick the curve, hold down Shift, make it bigger, get a little bit better angle on it, and let's take a look at that. And that's pretty decent, but you can go through and change any of the presets. So let's say you want something like this, and we'll apply that one. So it automatically applies the curve. Now you have to find it. Go ahead and get rid of that one that's there, and then input the new one, and then you can kind of play around with these. Kind of like the one I just made, huh? And then you can go back to your presets. It kind of shows you a little bit if you hover over it. Slow halo. Okay, let's try this one. See what this looks like. Added the preset. Okay. So let's see what this one looks like. Let's go back to the beginning there. Kind of just from one side to the other, and then you can GIF it back so it keeps on going back around. Okay, but you can play around with these presets. So I'm just going to go ahead and click that first one and apply it. And then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those, and just keep this one here, get rid of that one, and put that one in there. Okay, and I'll do it one more time here. Check it out. Just something basic going around the ring. Alright, now we can go on down. You can change your, like I said, your target point by picking here and then selecting the target point and putting it in there and checking it out, making sure that's the exact same target point I had. So there you go. Let's go back. Alright, and you can change the start point, which start point is right on, so I don't want to do that. But click here and then move around the curve wherever you want to start at. What else we got in here? Let's go to our advanced settings. Focal, I wouldn't really mess around with that too much. It kind of does some crazy stuff. Let's see, align camera direction with curve. This will change the curve direction. So you can, once you turn on that, you can do a reverse curve, perpendicular. I don't really mess around with these too much, but if you click on one and do it kind of flips it to a different angle, kind of upside down right now, which you might need for some earrings or something like that, but this particular case I don't really like it. Curve direction, let's go back. Goes like it's going with the curve. The camera's at a 90-degree angle with the curve, so it's like, again, for maybe like pendants or earrings or something. Okay, so I'm just going to turn that off. Don't want any of that, so we'll go back, and it's back to our original. But you can use these for different things. What else we got down here? Change the file name. We'll just change this file name here to a test. Hit enter. You can change the frames per second. 24 is really deep, 30 is fine. You really don't need a lot, but you'll get it's 24 frames per second, or you can change that up. I just stay with the defaults for the most part. Render, you can do a viewport, delete frames after movie creation. What this will do is this will take, let's see, what do we got here? 240 frames. So I'll take 240 pictures, the 640 by 480, with 150 passes per render. That's probably plenty. You can bump that up to 200, but 150, 200 is fine. Actually, for this, I'm going to keep it at the 150. But you can change the frames per second. Say you want it to 100 frames per second. Now, of course, the more frames per second you have, the more time it's going to take. This is going to be a 10-second video. If you bump it up, you want it a longer video. 8-second video, 4-second video, faster. Okay, 2.4-second video. But I'm going to keep it at the 24. So if you drop it down, it'll go up. But 24 is fine. And let's see. Yeah. Okay, so let's go test your render. You can go ahead and test it. Check out what your render is going to look like. Okay, so that's okay, I guess. I could do better with the lighting, but I'm not going to mess around with that right now. This is just a basic. We'll get into some of the other stuff later. Alright, so let's go ahead and just do a simple render, and I'm going to click on Create Animation. And you can stop it at any time here and restart it. You can go back, it'll save your pictures. And if it, say you have to leave or something, you can stop it, and you can actually resume from your let's drop this down a little bit. Okay, you can save it, or it'll save where you dropped off, so you can go back and restart your render, or you can pause it or whatever, or just stop it, but it'll save up to the point wherever it's at, whatever frame number. So I'm just going to go ahead and put pause on this, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like when it's finished. Okay, we're back. The video's done. So where did it save it at, right? So we saved it as test file. So you need to go to your files and go to C drive documents, and then under MatrixGold, and then animation, and we have our test file there. And open it up, and it saves all the pictures. 240 pictures, and it saves the video, and it saves the 3DM file. So just click on the video itself, and there you go. It looks okay. I don't like that line going through. The diamonds don't really pop real good, so I could have added some lighting in there. But it'll give you an idea. You have to play around. Plus, this is a really low setting, so let me minimize this real quick, and we'll get rid of that. We had it really low settings, only 150 passes. We could have upped those passes. We could have added in a light for the rendering to help it. And you do all that before you set it up. So when you do the render, you could do a test render. If you don't like the lighting here, you can go and change it so you can make those diamonds pop a little bit more. Let's close that out real quick. And then of course you can change your passes, up it, get a little bit more better, or a little better resolution on it. So pick up your passes, and of course up the frames per second. That would also help it. But again, all that changes the timing, and I didn't want to wait that long. I guess I don't do a lot of animation because of the file sizes and everything. But you can you know, delete frames after movie created, so you don't have to. If you click this box, you can get rid of all those frames. It will not save those frames, because if you forget about them and you keep on saving them and don't delete them, it's going to eat up a lot of your memory on your hard drive. So it's probably good to check that, but it's not necessary. Just remember that those are there, and if the video you like is fine, or you don't need those photos, just dump them. And let's see what else real quick. Again, it's really good to keep going back and checking your setup before you render, to make sure it's exactly what you're looking for, instead of having to do the render and it's not really exactly there. So if the setup is a little bit real quick, let's drag this in. I'll hold down Shift and drag that in. So if you set it up originally, you know, something like this, that's actually not that bad. Or however, oh yeah, you have to input the curve. So if you adjust the curve at all, you'll have to re-input it into the box to get the new curve. So there's the new, it's closer of course. So every time you make any kind of adjustment on that curve, say you want to drag this side down, if I don't adjust the curve and I go ahead and play it, it'll keep it at that same curve. So you'll need to dump that curve after you make any kind of adjustments, pick that new curve that you adjusted up and put it into the box, and now it will show the adjustments that you make. Okay, but you can put any kind of curve and move it around. Just make sure after you do your editing that you choose that curve and put it into the box, and you can change that, your target viewpoint. Is there anything else I missed? I think that's it for now. One more time we'll play that video. But it didn't come out too bad, but it could be a lot better if I up the count, frames per second, and put a little camera in there, get those diamonds popping a little bit better. I think it would, but not too bad. They really sparkle when they go by. But I hope this helps. If it does, leave me a message. And we'll, like I said, this is going to be, there's several other things that we can do, so we're going to go deeper into it. But this is all for this video here. So I hope it helps. If it did, please leave a like, subscribe, and a comment below. Thanks for watching, and good designing.